Anthony Sherman, man, a patriotic player who just was known for some pretty epic training camp arrivals to helicopter the American flag themed attire. Mark, just kind of break down that article and then give some of your favorite Anthony Sherman moments throughout his tenure with the Chiefs.
Yeah, so I just kind of went through my top 5 Anthony Sherman plays, and I added a spoiler alert bonus 6th play in there that I loved from Sherman. But he wasn't like ever a featured part of the offense. He kind of just was in there doing the dirty work most of the time. But there were a few plays like his first touchdown that was memorable. He got a touchdown in the playoff game against the Colts, the one that we won't mention what happened in the second half of that game, but he gave them, his touchdown gave the Chiefs a 24-7 lead in that game. And so, that's memorable whenever a guy gets his first playoff touchdown. He's always going to remember that. And maybe not all Chiefs fans remember that, but I don't know. Anthony Sherman just would always give me random fond memories. So, yeah, of course, all the times he came out to training camp dressed like, an American flag spandex outfit. And was that the one when Joshua Briscoe took the picture of him? It looked
Yes,
like
yeah, that is one of the most infamous Joshua Briscoe photos out there on the internet.
Yeah.
But man, the one that, or I guess the two that stick out to me, the first one was like that wheel route or whatever he ran in 2018 week 1, because that was like a pretty decent like catch and run. Like Mahomes put it on the money, he took it off and just never looked back. And then the lead block on Damian Williams' Super Bowl touchdown, like without, you look at the game within the game sometimes, and that goes overlooked by people. People don't really recognize it. They just see the play, or they see an offensive lineman. Like Anthony Sherman didn't play all the snaps on offense, wasn't always there, wasn't always needed. But when he was on the field, he made an impact.
Yeah, totally. It's like you said, you don't always think of Anthony Sherman as the guy getting the touchdowns, but yeah, him breaking the block for Damian Williams to clinch the Super Bowl, that's just a play that's going to be melted in Chiefs fans' minds for eternity.
Yeah, 100%. And with that, Sherman no longer with the team. The Chiefs brought in Michael Burton from New Orleans on a 1-year deal. Last year, he had 7 rushing attempts for 18 yards, 4 receptions for 28 receiving yards. Likely a special teamer. I think he mentioned like the 4-face type player, all that good stuff. The Chiefs have some potential by committee replacements for Anthony Sherman, potentially a tight end trial. You have Blake Bell, you have Nick Keiser, you have Noah Gray. Mark, what do you think are some potential avenues the Chiefs may take, if they take any, to fully replace Anthony Sherman?
Yeah, on special teams it'll be interesting because he was a big time special teams player for the Chiefs. And he's also the locker room guy, that everybody just kind of rallies around. So it's kind of hard to replace that. But there's guys in this Chiefs locker room that'll be able to step up and fill that void, I feel like. As far as on the field play, in the offensive sets, like you said, Noah Gray, I think, could be a guy that can come in as a rookie and maybe be able to make an impact in that way. I think he lined up a little bit like that at Duke sometimes. You're the 100 for 100 guy, so I want to hear your thoughts on Noah Gray. What do you think he can do with this offense?
Yeah, man, I think that he could be a move tight end. He was able to do a lot at Duke, wasn't always, asked to do it necessarily, but he kind of has that nuance in his route running with head fakes and stuff. Like he can line up out wide, he can line up in the slot, he can do a bunch of stuff as a receiver, but also blocking. He does need some work with his functional strength. Not the greatest athlete, not the biggest guy out there, but I think if the Chiefs can get him moving with the plays that they run, it's possible that he could be that H-back for them if needed in spurts. Like, I don't think one guy is going to necessarily replace Anthony Sherman just because, A, he was a 2020 NFL fullback. Like, those guys don't play huge roles anyway. And number 2, Michael Burton will probably get the first crack at that if he stays on the team, all that good stuff. But Noah Gray, a guy that I could see doing it. Nick Keiser, like, people bash on Nick Keiser. They brought him back for a reason. A, it was really cheap to do so,
Yeah.
being the exclusive rights free agent. 2, probably a special teams guy. Like, I think he's going to do that. And then Blake Bell, I don't think Blake Bell does that, but he's probably a better blocker than Noah Gray at this point, I would say. And that's going to be a big part of the Chiefs offense. How are they going to pave ways for Clyde Edwards-Helaire? Now up front, The offensive line's a lot better than it was at certain points in the
Yeah.
year, but kind of what they do outside of that, man, I'm just excited for Noah Gray, like not necessarily this year, but moving forward, because I think he can add another element to that offense.
Yeah, for sure. And you mentioned the name Nick Keiser. I know Chiefs fans will probably cringe a little bit, like you said, when they hear that name, just because he wasn't terrible, but there was those times, probably about a handful of times last year, where Mahomes threw him the ball and he dropped it, or maybe he jumped a little too soon for the catch and it went over his head or something like that. So that might be a spot. And sometimes you wonder, like, why is Andy Reid trying to get this guy the ball? But maybe Noah Gray can be the guy that has the better hands, has the sure hands that can come in here and play that type of a spot for him.
Yeah, 100%. And we both know that it's not going to make a huge difference. Like whoever replaces Anthony Sherman, sure, there could be a couple plays that don't go as planned or go better. I think the special teams value is really going to be where he's missed the most, because that guy was like an ace on special teams and he was a team player. Dave Tube really liked him. The team just seemed to fully buy in to him and vice versa. He was kind of the glue that held them together sometimes on special teams. You would hear his name called. I can't remember a time, and I'm sure there were multiple, but I can't remember a time where Anthony Sherman's name was mentioned and it was like a negative thing. Like he was always making a play, he was always in the right place at the right time, hyping up his teammates, stuff like that. So, kind of the things that don't always get thought about or talked about, I think are going to be where he's missed the most.
Yeah, he's the pros pro. He's always doing exactly what he needs to do. And speaking of pros, he was in the Pro Bowl that one year. And I mentioned in the article he had like an incredible game. And I found a tweet just when I was researching this article about. I didn't even see this like literally until like this past week, but it was Eric Fisher was there in the Pro Bowl. Anthony Sherman was there, of course, and then they were together watching Patrick Mahomes get the MVP trophy, and their reaction to him getting the trophy was, "No, how could it be? It should have been Sherman." And so like it's so funny how like the teammates react to Sherman as well, because obviously everybody loves Pat, but to see guys like Eric Fisher, who unfortunately is not on the Chiefs anymore, but guys like that are like pulling for Sherman to like have an MVP in the Pro Bowl. So it's kind of fun to see stuff like that.
Yeah, 100%. And it's also a testament to how close that team is, that they can poke fun at each other like that. And everyone knows it's a Pro Bowl trophy. Like the Chiefs would have rather been in the Super Bowl, not playing for the Pro Bowl. Stuff like that happens. And it would have been awesome if Anthony Sherman retired with a Pro Bowl MVP on his resume. But I think he'll take a Super Bowl ring and call it quits after that. But just a guy that truly didn't get talked about a lot, but was super fun. And speaking of fun,